Venice, St. Mark's Square, the very heart of the old town. Right from here starts our journey around Venice. If you want to know what to do, what to see, where to go, what to eat in Venice, this is the video you were looking for. Let's begin from the St. Mark's Basilica, astonishing church that has been overlooking the square for almost 1,000 years. It is gold plated and has beautiful mosaics that tell the story of the city. Yeah, I know, super crowded place. This is the line outside, and unfortunately no photos and videos allowed inside the church. But it's a must of Venice you cannot miss. From the terrace of the Museum of the Cathedral you have an amazing view over St. Mark's Square and the DOGE'S Palace, one of the best museums in Venice where you can admire great pieces of art and the stunning rooms of one of the landmarks of Venice. From the prisons of the palace, a narrow hallway leads to the well-known Bridge of Sighs, whose name refers to the sigh of the prisoners looking out at the Venetian lagoon for the last time before they went to jail. St. Mark's Bell Tower, one of the tallest in Italy. From up there, the view of the city and the lagoon is amazing. Another icon of Venice you cannot miss. And about the Bell Tower, there are also interesting stories to tell. Let's have a look. In the early 1600s, it was possible to see the distant objects as they were close thanks to some special glasses. We are in 1609. Galileo Galilei is thinking about how to improve these glasses, and he had a revolutionary idea. He invented the first telescope in history. From this very tower, he wanted to show the benefits his invention could give to the Republic of Venice in the military field, but he also wanted to show the benefits in an astronomical, scientific point of view. So he pointed his telescope to the sky to look at it. And he discovered many interesting things about the moon, about Jupiter, the Milky Way. So he contributed a lot to the universal knowledge. Now, I'm not Galileo Galilei, I'm not even a scientist, so I'm not going to look at the sky. But I can assure you that even if you look down, it's a spectacular view. Cicchetti? Hungry? Looking for Cicchetti? Cicchetti? Cicchetti. Ah, Cicchetti. Cicchetti. Salute. If you want to know what are Cicchetti, where to go for the best Cicchetti, what to eat, what are bakery, you're in the right place. And if you think that Venice is expensive, that is a city full of tourist scams, well, then you're probably right. Yes, you are. But not always. If you feel like walking here and there, going off the usual tourist beaten path to discover the real Venice, you will get to see that a Cicchetto is a great way to try something new and unusual, and a variety of dishes, not just one thing, with a good glass of wine, cheaply. Starters, appetizers, finger food, you can call them whatever you want. Point is, Cicchetti are small bites, nibbles that you can eat without cutlery, with a good glass of wine. Usually the selection of Cicchetti is limited because they buy what's fresh from the market that day. Mostly local food, of course, like salted codfish, sardines, musky octopus, but also vegetables, cured meats, cheeses, eggs, and so on. They can be hot dishes, cold dishes, fried, served with polenta or bread, even if the authentic Venetians say no bread, but always seasonal food. The name Cicchetto comes from the Latin ciccus, that means little, small amount. Indeed, a Cicchetto is a small bite. Mid-morning, you're hungry, before lunch or before dinner, as an aperitif, or just to accompany a good glass of wine. Back to the early 1200s, the trades of the Republic of Venice were swelling. More and more merchants and businessmen were in town. Businessmen, you know, they are always in a hurry, they have no time for a proper lunch, and so Cicchetti became popular as a quick meal, but also a way to soak up the glass of wine they drank. In Venice called ombra, that means shade. But why is a glass of wine called shade? St. Mark's Square. The St. Mark's Bell Tower is the tallest building in the square, so here under the campanile is the largest shade. In the past, the wine cellars called Baccari, they were used to set up and place their stalls here in the shade of the campanile to keep the wine cool. So it became popular among the Venetians to say, let's go get the shade. That means, let's go get a glass of wine. While nowadays the word Baccaro refers to the Venetian common saying far baccara, to hang out, to have a good time. Far baccara from Bacchus, the Latin name of the god of wine. That's why Venetian taverns became known as Baccari, a small place with a few seats where you can get a glass of wine and a cicchetto you can enjoy at the table or standing. And since a Baccaro is usually a small place, the party often moves out to the Venetian streets and canals. Moreover, Venice is perfect for cicchetti and ombre, because there are no cars. You can't drive a car in Venice, so the city is perfect for a bar hop, and it's easy to keep going for 3-4 Baccari and transform a cicchetto with a glass of wine into a night with your friends. Maybe new ones. If you want tips about the best Baccari in town, check out the description of the video.
Mwah.
Thousands of visitors from all over the world pour out to attend the Carnival of Venice, a gigantic feast running over 1,000 years through the streets and the canals of Venice, with many shows, carnival masks and any kind of event and performance at any time. We are in the middle of the 16th century. During the carnival celebration, a young athlete from Turkey walked along a rope stretched from a docked boat to the St. Mark's Bell Tower. The crowd is in ecstasy, and from that moment on, the show of the tightrope walker is a must of every carnival edition. Nowadays, the tightrope walkers have been replaced by celebrities fastened to a cable that runs from the Bell Tower to St. Mark's Square. This is called the Eagle Flight. People swarm St. Mark's Square and the surrounding streets. Everyone wants to attend the carnival parade. A heartfelt moment for the Venetians is the so-called Svolo del Leon, the flight of the lion. A huge cloth representing a winged lion, the icon of Venice, is flapped over the square. The city literally blows up. Theatrical pieces on the streets, concerts, it's a huge movable feast. And the celebration goes on beyond the sunset with private parties and masked balls.
Mwah.
Venice, one of the most romantic cities in the world, where everything began, where tourism began. But why Venice? And why is it called tourism? Well, Venice has been one of the most refined cities in Europe for centuries, with a strong influence on art. And during the 17th century, maybe Venice was the most important city in the world from an artistic point of view. Here a school of painters was born. I can call it the genre of landscape. For the first time in the history of painting, the landscape is a crucial element of a painting, and not just the background of the human action or the background of a religious theme. From that moment on, the landscape has a key role in painting, and therefore the landscape started to gain more and more attention, and the painters started to travel to discover more interesting landscapes. A journey started to be considered as an educational experience, and the trend of the Grand Tour started to spread. The Grand Tour was the journey that, from the 17th century on, every European rich descendant had to do in order to complete his education and in order to be considered a man. By the way, the word tourism comes from the Grand Tour, and Venice was, of course, a crucial stopover on the Grand Tour. Many books about the Grand Tour were written, books that years later will be considered as the first tourist guides. But not just this, lots of masters of literature wrote about Venice. Stendhal, Lord Byron, Proust, Goethe, Mann, D'Annunzio, Pirandello, Dostoevsky, Hemingway, and I could go on like this for a week. Point is, From that moment on, artists began to document their journeys, and so we can speak about the first travel documentaries. That's why I'm here today, doing what I do, being a professional tour leader and telling you about Italy. I owe this to Venice, because here everything has begun.